Well, let's get this show on the road. I am currently 27 weeks and 1 day pregnant. Today is Saturday, May 13th, the day before Mother's Day, and I guess I'll just start from the beginning. I've had a lot of people wanting to know kind of what happened, so figured it's easier if I just make a video. I want to say sometime last week I started noticing what I thought was fluid, not urine or anything like that, or discharge, TMI, but whatever. So I kind of just kept an eye on it and just would watch it Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, to see if it got worse or if it went away or if I was just crazy and was peeing myself. Who knows? Pregnancy can do that to you. So anyway, I would notice when I would sit down, I would kind of have a little bit of gush of fluid or whatever, so didn't really think it was a big deal, kind of let it go. I had my monthly OB appointment on May 11th, which was this past Thursday, so I was like, I'll just wait and go to the doctor and just ask her what she thinks, because generally I'm not really a worrier, so I figured everything was fine. Still feeling her move around. I didn't have a big gush like my water broke, wasn't really worried about it. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning, I was getting Lex, who is my 11-year-old, ready for school, and I was literally standing in my bathroom brushing my teeth, and I felt like fluid dripping down my leg. It wasn't urine or anything, it was just coming out. There was no pressure on my bladder or anything like that, so I was like, alright, this is a little bit concerning. So I jumped in the shower just because I had fluid running down my leg, got Lex to school, called my doctor's office because it was still early, they weren't even open yet. Called them and left a message with the nurse, asked her to call me back, told her what was going on, and she advised me to come into the emergency room to have a test done to confirm if it was amniotic fluid or if it was urine, because they couldn't do that in the office. So got myself together. I was like, I'm not going to get admitted to the hospital, whatever. It's probably just, I'm just overreacting. So, came into the emergency room, I want to say 11 o'clock on Wednesday morning. They took me right into a room, had a doctor come in and check me out, put the baby on the monitor, her heartbeat was fine, and they did a speculum exam, did a couple swabs. They said the way that they test for it is to see if it's fluid or urine is they will take the swabs, they'll dip them in something, and if it turns a certain color, it's positive or negative for fluid. They will also look at it under the microscope, which is apparently the more accurate response. And the first time they didn't see anything. So apparently there was no fluid, which was good news. That's kind of what I wanted to hear. No big deal. All right, fine, I'll go home and just keep an eye on it. They wanted me to wait around for a couple hours just so that I was sitting to see if any fluid would collect, since I was just kind of hanging around. They were going to retest me in a few hours to see if they could see anything. So I sat around, I don't even know what time it was, maybe 3 or 4 o'clock. They came back to do the exam again, took another swab. The doctor did notice, she seen, when she was looking inside, she seen stuff in there. She's like, oh, it's probably just discharge or mucus. We're going to check it again. Everything should be fine. No big deal. So they left to go put it under the microscope, and then the resident doctor came back in with the attending doctor, who is apparently she answers to her, and I was literally getting ready to, I was getting dressed. I thought I was going to be discharged, and she came back in and said, we're 95% sure that your water broke, or it ruptured. It didn't break. It didn't fully break. It's leaking. One of the membranes ruptured, which literally 3 hours before that, 3 or 4 hours before that, there was nothing. So they wanted to take a third sample in another hour to see if they could conclusively say, yes, it's definitely ruptured, you're leaking fluid, and then have a course of action from there. So I just said, okay, worst case scenario, what happens if my water did break or if it ruptured? they said I can't leave the hospital. But I have things to do. I have a job. I have a husband and a kid, and probably have some returns to make to a store. I don't know. I have things. I have laundry to do. I have to cook dinner. Like, that's not going to work for me. So anyway, whatever. They had me sit for another hour, and then they did a third exam, and they basically did like a speculum exam. Opened me up and just checked. My cervix is still closed. I'm not in labor, anything like that. They just wanted to see if there was any more like pool of fluid that they could see. They did the third test, came back fairly quickly and said that it was inconclusive. They couldn't confirm if there was fluid or not. But from the second test, they did see it. So they decided to consult the high-risk doctor to see what their opinion was, if they had any concerns or suggestions on what to do from there. And the head OB and the high-risk doctor decided that the best thing to do would be to keep me in the hospital to monitor me until she is born. So this hospital, their rule of thumb is they want to keep me pregnant until 34 weeks. So like I said, I'm 27 weeks now. That's 7 weeks from now. That's basically best case scenario is that sorry, I'm reading text messages. Is that I stay pregnant until 34 weeks. Nothing eventful happens. They continue to monitor both of us, and at 34 weeks I'll be induced and she'll be born. They won't let me go past 34 weeks because they basically said the risk of at that point the risks outweigh the rewards. There's no real research to show that keeping me pregnant past 34 weeks is any better for the baby. She'll be fully developed by then. Her lungs will be good. Just to kind of backtrack a little bit, so they decided to admit me, and then when they decided to admit me, there was just, a whole course of action that they had to take. So they hooked me up to an IV. They kept me on alternating antibiotics just to prevent, if there was an infection, because there was a rupture in the membrane, the thing that they're most concerned about is that it is developing an internal infection, which could pass on to the baby. So they were very adamant about getting me on antibiotics right away, so that if there was any type of infection, they'd be able to treat it. They also sent the swabs out that they took from all my exams to the lab, just to see if there was any indication of why my water ruptured or why there's a hole or anything like that. Most times it's caused from some type of infection that you may not even know you have. It could be something as small as a urinary tract infection that could cause it. We still don't know what those results are anyway, and we may not know. So anyway, I was still in the triage room at this point. It was probably after 6 p.m. now, and they were going to admit me to the labor and delivery floor because the first 24 hours are the most crucial once they've established that your water is broken or ruptured. I don't like to say broken just because it didn't burst open. I still have the baby still has plenty of fluid around her. It's just kind of slowly leaking out. The baby she will continue to produce fluid because it's urine, and as long as I'm hydrated, she's producing urine, but it'll just kind of slowly creep out. It'll leak out. They're not really worried about my fluid levels getting low. They said that won't change their course of action, even if it does. If it starts to get too low, I guess they might reevaluate it. But right now she has plenty of fluid around her. She's moving around. She's fine. I'm fine. Her heartbeat's fine. Everything's good. We just basically have to stay here to keep me monitored, to ensure that I don't get an infection, to ensure that I don't go into labor. Because if that's the case, they kind of react quickly. So we've had, over the last couple of days, we've just had a ton of doctors in here. Everyone's been super informative. They're just kind of giving us hey, this is what's going to happen if you deliver now, if you deliver next week, up until 34 weeks. So the NICU here is amazing. All the doctors here are amazing. This is just a great hospital. I'm in a good place. I'm not happy about having to stay here for 7 weeks, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So anyway, I went to the labor and delivery floor on Wednesday night just in case they had to deliver her. which would have been a good possibility, but everything was perfect. They monitored both of us literally throughout the whole entire night. And then on Thursday night, I was moved over to what's called the antepartum unit, which is just like pre-childbirth basically. If you have any type of complications, they keep you hanging out here and just keep an eye on you. Nurses and doctors come in and check on you. But I was on IV antibiotics for Wednesday and Thursday, and some of yesterday. And then they took me off of the IV antibiotics and switched me to oral. So it's not really that bad. I don't need to be hooked up to fluids or anything because I'm allowed to eat. I don't have any restrictions as far as what I can eat and what I can drink and stuff. So it's not terrible. It's just knowing that I'll be stuck in the hospital, and I don't want to say there's not anything wrong, but it's just more precautionary at this point. The high-risk doctor did say that once your membranes are compromised, 50% of women do go into labor within the first week. So kind of just taking it day by day. I don't feel any signs of labor at all. I have no contractions. Nothing like that. So I'm not really worried at this point. But they also said that from experience, you can feel fine for, 1 to 5 days, 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden, like, it can change immediately and you can go into labor and she's here. And at that point, they're prepared. I met with a neonatologist who explained everything she could as far as what their process is. If she comes early, well, she's going to come early regardless. But right now, I will hit 34 weeks on June 30th. So she's currently breech also, just to add to the list of things. If she decides to flip around and go into the natural delivery position, at 34 weeks I'll be able to just be induced and have a regular vaginal delivery, hopefully with no complications. If she decides to stay breech, I'll most likely have to have a C-section, which I'm fine with. I mean, I prefer not to have major abdominal surgery if I don't have to, but whatever's safest for her is fine. So, but we're going to shoot for 34 weeks, regular vaginal delivery. Hopefully she's in good condition when she comes out. She's not stressed out or anything and wouldn't have to stay in the NICU that long. Obviously the closer I get to full term, the better. So 34 weeks is where they're confident that she would be born and have minimal issues, because everything right now looks fine. So I think that covered everything for right now. You can see all my monitors and stuff in the background. I decided, man, what else am I going to do? I might as well record my time in here and keep you guys updated on what's going on for those of you who care. And just see what it's like being stuck in the hospital for 7 weeks. So, I mean, everyone's been really nice. We've had a lot of people offer to come up and hang out and, bring me stuff. I'm still trying to figure out what to do all day, because everyone that knows me knows that I work from sun up to sundown, and generally we always have something going on. So it's a little hard to take me out of my element and just have me sitting in a hospital room. So if you have any Netflix suggestions, that would be great. But yeah, everyone's been great so far. So totally unexpected, but that's life. And it was just a little ironic because everyone started getting my baby shower invitations this week, and we're gonna have to change that now. So yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions about anything, I'm here, not going anywhere. So generally have my phone glued to my face as usual. But yeah, so I don't know, when there's something else to update, I'll make another video. As of right now, it's kind of boring. The doctors would just like an uneventful stay. So that's what we're going to try to do. Keep her baking. If you have any name suggestions, we still haven't chosen a name. So I'll gladly accept name suggestions. We should probably pick a name too, just in case, I have to be knocked out during a C-section or something. Who knows? So we'll see. Name suggestions, any binge show suggestions are appreciated. But yeah, other than that, not much going on. So, I will update you guys next time there's something to update. Bye.